My. Look what the cat dragged in. You're not an Astartes. Did they really care so little as to leave the mortals guarding me? Rather bold of them, like guarding a wolf with sheep. Wow, that look in your eyes. I guess my reputation has spread beyond Nostramo. Aww, I'm almost a little disappointed. I don't get to make a new first impression. I'm impressed you haven't already soiled your breeches, ordered to guard the infamous Night Haunter, to make sure she doesn't break out and, well, looks like you've already heard all about my handiwork. Do you like my cloak? It's a lovely tapestry of skin from the worst of the worst on Nostramo, like a quilt of trophies. Fancy yourself among them, little guardsman. Would you like to join the fabric I carry with me everywhere I go? I'm only teasing. Besides, you're not pale enough to be an Nostraman. You'd clash with the rest of it. Speaking of, it's rather bright in here. Do you think you could turn down the lights a little so I can see better? I'm used to a darker environment. You wouldn't want to blind me, would you, little guard? Ah, clever. Very clever. Well, it was worth a shot. Don't want to make things too easy for me, do you, guardsman? That wouldn't be very fun. That would be no good at all. Although, you should know that I will be getting out of here. Nostramo's foulest and most conniving couldn't keep me imprisoned. So what chance of keeping hold of me do you really think you have, little guardsman? Oh, you sound so sure of that fact. If you really think my cell is so secure, why don't you come a little closer? Come on, little guard. Let me get a closer look at you. Maybe I'll spare you if I can recognize your face once I break out. That's it. Nice and close. Almost close enough to bite. Ooh, that's a rough one. I do not envy you, little guardsman. Oh no, I'm sure you don't want to waste time talking to me. I mean, who knows if I'd even tell the truth? If you insist, I can see your death, little guardsman. I can see the deaths of everyone I meet. Call it a little prophetic quirk. You see, my sister, Sanguinia, she got the nice version. Pleasant visions that allow her to be resolute and bold. But me, mine take a slightly more grim tone. And you wonder why she's the favorite. Oh, you want to know what I see? Well, it's rather funny, actually. I see me. You're like my little mirror, guardsman. Been a while since I've seen my chalk white face and jet black peepers. A little gift from Nostramo. You know, in the right lighting, I look like a snowman. Shh. Hold still. I'm not done looking. Well, you can forgive me a little vanity. Fulgrim is my sister, after all. A power like mine is enough to drive a person mad. And of course, it has. I'm well aware that I am twisted. I can see how you look at me. But I think anyone would be if they only knew that no matter what they did, they were doomed to die miserable and alone. Betrayed by their father. I used to try, you know? To try to work to avoid the dark future I foresaw for my father and sisters. To wash away fate's written endings with blood. But no matter what, the vision I saw was always the same. No matter what I do, fate remains the same. I think that's what broke me. It would break any of my sisters. But in the end, I don't suppose it matters. No sob story will clean the blood from my ledger. Would you like to know why you're keeping me imprisoned, little mirror? Oh, it is quite the story. Shh. No, why don't you stay sat right there? After all, what would your superiors say if they lost out on crucial intel because you wouldn't talk to little old me? That's it. Hush. Don't look too pleased about having to spend more time with me. Well, you know how I mentioned Nostramo? It's where I grew up. A truly vile place. I'd recommend a visit, but, well, it's gone. Yes, I'm afraid that was my handiwork. I was on a mission with two of my sisters, the vain one and the blunt one. Well, I suffered a sort of mental break. And afterwards, I tore my poor sister Dawn's face to shreds. Unfortunately, they weren't too pleased about that. Nor was I. Believe it or not, I was quite inconsolable. They kept me locked up while they were discussing what to do with their nutcase sister, and well, that's when I took my leave. 2 imperial fists were left guarding me back then. I'm sure you can imagine what happened to them. Yellow and red really do pair up nicely. I know. Now imagine what I'm going to do to you. I will admit I have been brainstorming, but I'm getting sidetracked. Well, like anyone having a difficult time mentally, I decided to take a little trip home. See how things were doing in my absence. Well, what I saw was rather ugly. They'd returned to their old ways. Crime rampant on the street. Every citizen a murderer, thief, or worse. Well, I'm sure you can imagine how upset I was by that, after all the effort I put into the place. So I decided to take a more permanent approach to reducing the crime rates, and cutting off the source of the poison rotting my legion from the inside as well. You see, when a planet gets a little too into mining, it tends to destabilize the core. Not enough to collapse on its own, but one well-placed shot, and well, the rest is history. Do not shed a tear for that loathsome rock. It is, of course, what molded the monster you see before you. Unlike my sisters, no kindly parents decided to take me in, raise me as their own. I was not met with love and affection, but instead by the starving, who only saw me as food. A twisted place devoid of goodness or even light. I was able to force their hand, for a time, to give them no choice but to be decent. But seeing what they became in my absence showed me that without me forcibly steering the course, trimming the wayward sons, they would always regress to degeneracy. The galaxy is better off without it. But of course, Daddy Dearest wasn't the biggest fan of me taking the law into my own hands and wiping out an imperial planet. So, here I am. Hypocrite. Yes, I'm afraid the beloved Emperor isn't as infallible as Lorgar would have you believe. You see, his wrath towards me is simply just to save face. Hush, hush, little mirror. Just listen. You see, he told us to strike fear into the hearts of his enemies, to use extreme methods to quell rebellious attitudes, and of course, we did. But that isn't a very good look for the golden hero of mankind. No. His favorite daughter or his angel are far better optics than his deranged daughter from a hive world infamous for its crime, skinning and flaying people alive, broadcasting the screams over the planet to inspire fear and obedience. So of course he had to separate himself from that. Publicly admonish me, to give the impression that he disapproves, whilst not giving a single command to stop. Not a single sanction. Because he didn't want us to stop. We were very useful. We just didn't look very good. Monster, you say? Well, you're not wrong. But we're all monsters. We just don't hide it like the others. Do you want to know something funny? Our campaigns had the lowest casualty rates of all. You see, my sisters, upon being charged to take a world, will come down in a force of glory and strength. Conventional warfare. But of course, how many die in those battles before the governors of each world are brought to heel? How many more crushing rebellions by those who do not fear them? Then, by contrast, consider the worlds we took. The screams of a few thousand. Skinned bodies dropped from the sky like rain. There's no glory in that, and it is most definitely an act of utmost cruelty. But the only ones that need to die are those few used to make an example. many times the mention that we were approaching is enough to have a world broadcasting their surrender and compliance. What I do is ugly, but consider truly which is more cruel, little mirror. Aw, is your shift over already? A shame. I was enjoying the conversation. I haven't had a conversation with a mortal in quite some while. I don't think tortured screams count. I'm sure I will be seeing you quite soon. See you shortly, little mirror. I have come for you. Hello, little mirror. I did tell you that the cell wouldn't hold me very long. Oh, I wouldn't bother reaching for your weapon, little mortal. Do you really want to anger me? For now, I just want to toy with you. I really was quite bored after you left. Shh. There's no point screaming for help. You're the last one left. Well, I couldn't have the crew running around, could I? They could have called for help. Or perish the thought, try to crash the ship. No. I had to take care of them. But you I want to leave alive. After all, it would be a rather dull trip without company. We have quite a few cycles of travel ahead of us, don't we, little mirror? Besides, you make better company than the scum in my ranks. Perhaps I'll keep you. I am dreadfully lonely, you know. My little mirror. My siblings all despise me. They see me as a freak. And in fairness, they are not wrong. Not even the siblings my father abhors will lower themselves to talking to me. And, like I said, my nightlords have been infested with the dregs I would have seen hung by their entrails as examples. Of course, if you don't like that idea, I'm sure I could find other ways of amusing myself using you. How do you like the idea of a cat and mouse game? It'd be good for keeping my instincts sharp. I could let you run and hide. Every time I find you, I could take a small part of you as a trophy. First a finger, and then the next, and the next, and the next. And then when you run out of those, I could move to your toes, your ears, non-essential organs, slowly stripping you of your flesh until all that remains is what you cannot live without. Oh, you don't like that idea? Well, of course you don't. And truth be told, neither do I. I do rather like that pretty face of yours. It'd be a shame to have to ruin it. So are you going to be a good little mirror and be pleasant company? Good. I did notice that it was starting to get a little cold in here. I will admit I did have to damage the ventilation systems during my escape, so I got you a little something. It's a blanket, little mirror. Do you recognize the material? Well, the first few of your colleagues I was able to take care of before alerting the rest, so I decided to take the time to make you a little something while I was hiding out in the vents. You're welcome, my little mirror. Your first flesh coat. I even put the name tags they wore on it, so you can tell exactly who you're hugging. Oh, you're almost going as pale as me. I can already tell you are going to be so much fun.